Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our monthly Tourist Board meeting. Thank you. Today being February 5th,
Thank you.
2024, and promptly about 5:35, we're starting the meeting. Can the town clerk please call the roll?
Chair Turgerman,
Here.
Vice Chair Jacobson,
Here.
Board Member Gonzalez. Here. Board Member Carp.
Here.
Board Member Singer is absent. Just to let the board know and the chair, the town attorney is running late. She left her office over an hour and a half ago. And due to the traffic, she should be arriving maybe in the next 15 minutes, but she wanted to extend her apologies. But we can continue with the meeting.
Well, in case if needed, we'll make notes on whatever we need to find out from her, should the need be before she gets here.
Correct. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Motion to approve a helicopter for the tourist board?
All right, we are moving on to the second item on the agenda, which is the agenda and order of the business. Any changes, any additions, any subtractions? If not, I hear nothing, so we will move for the next one, which is I forgot exactly that. I forgot to mention the people that are here presently attending the meeting. And we will start with our illustrious presently Mayor Danziger is here. Frank is here from the Tourist Board, as well as Cindy. And our manager is present also, and the rest is the board. And we have members of the audience, welcome. Okay, having acknowledged the people that are present and the people that are visiting, we now move to the Town Commission Liaison Report, which is our illustrious mayor, one of the hardest working mayors I have seen in my years in politics and or not politics, Mayor Danziger.
Thank you so much for that introduction,
You're welcome.
Mayor Turgman. So it's a pleasure to be here and to attend all those wonderful events over the last month. I think this last Saturday night we tried a new event. I know there was a couple of hiccups with it, and you guys are working on it, and we look forward to seeing some amazing things in the next couple of months. So thank you, everybody, for what you're doing and continue to do, and we will continue to enjoy every one of those events.
Excellent. Anything else? That's it?
What else should I say?
The floor is yours. You can say whatever you want. This is your opportunity to
not
say whatever you like.
Next week I've got like 8 hours up there. I can fill it in then.
All right. Well, again, welcome and thank you for that short report. Next item is we have adjusted the agendas now to have a couple of public comments. So we're opening it up for public comments on any item that they would like to discuss that is not on the agenda. We also welcome the public to speak on items that are not on the agenda. Nope. Okay, we'll move on to the next item, which is approval of the minutes. Hopefully you all read the minutes. Any adjustments, deletions, additions, corrections?
Motion to approve?
I just heard a motion to approve. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. I forgot to acknowledge our adopted town clerk. That's Evelyn, in case we don't know her. Evelyn, thank you for attending these meetings and collecting the notes for us. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
We all appreciate it, I should say. All right, the next item is our resort tax collection and vacancy report given to us by Frank.
Thank you, Chair. The report that I prepared for this month's meeting is from the same set of data that I had the last month. We actually got a brand new report from Finance at the end of last week, so next month we'll have a new fresh set of data. But for this particular chart, I wanted to look at the months of August and September, compare how those months were performing to the previous year and to 2021. And we can see more or less the similar trend that we've been seeing this season, which is a slight decrease in the accommodations. As you can see, we are down 7% versus last year, up 21, almost 22% over 2021. But on the food and beverage side, we are up 6% on that collection as well. So it shows you that restaurants are doing pretty well. I want to say this is a record season for them in terms of collection. I will verify that for the next meeting, but their collection has been very strong. Accommodations, again, down a little bit, but it'll be interesting to see if we can pick some of that up. Obviously, this goes through September, October, November, December are strong months. However, keep in mind that Marriott did go offline for a little bit to work on some renovations. I can report they are back open and after their renovation, so they are fully back online and hopefully welcoming some new guests. In terms of the businesses, we reformatted this page a little bit where it says new openings at the bottom. That's actually some pop-ups that have taken place at some of our current businesses. So we have some small brands doing pop-ups at some of our existing businesses. And we had the Wolfgang Surfside, which recently rebranded to Fur Baby Surfside. So if you have any pets in town and you need a local groomer, please check out Fur Baby Surfside. Additionally, we have a couple of new vacancies at Coach Expansion and the list of the ones that have been there for some time.
Question. The collection letter that I see here, penalty letter, was that satisfied? Mr. Manager?
Chair, I can speak to that regards. That is Hamsa, that is Surfside's, the concession stand. They've officially been terminated from the locale due to delinquencies, as well as it was a mutual agreement between the current concessionaire as well as the town. So with that said, we did seek to retain some of that tourism some of those dollars back. We haven't been able to obtain all of them, but it's part of a bigger picture of them, of us concluding our contract with them. So there is going to be an official vacancy in the concession stand, and that is to be decided at a commission level how to move forward with that vacancy. They have not been operating for a while, and it's been operational growth issues with the concession. As you know, this isn't the first time a concessionaire has I don't want to say gone out of business, but the business plan has not been in the favor based on how we require the operation to be. It's a really limited audience. If it's only those people using the community center, and it was just not viable for the individual currently doing business there. So it's in good terms, but we mutually agreed. But the proper way of doing it was to a termination of the contract. So I wanted to provide you
right
that.
now- Sorry. So right now, we don't have, it's not operating, is that what it is?
Chair, as of right now, it's not operating, and they're currently under their 30-day period of vacating all of their private properties and belongings from the premise. We will go ahead and open it, and then it's going to be a bigger discussion of how to proceed with that area.
History tells me that the concession at the community center has never been a profitable one. It has never. It's been more of a convenience. And unfortunately, everybody is working hard and everybody wants to make money for or receive funds for what they work for. And this is not really truly a money-making proposition, as I stated before. I think we probably need to look at reinventing the type of services that we can provide in that limited space. Either perhaps maybe looking for the tourist tax dollars to supplement an agreement with a future contract for that space. And depending upon, and I don't know if this board will be amicable to that, due to the fact that we definitely cater to the tourism at the community center. So I don't think that we would have a problem perhaps maybe subsidizing and attracting a good tenant that will, just be useful for the use of the tourists as well as residents as well as visitors.
Chair, as you know, it's not the first business where the business model hasn't operated well there successfully. The previous tenant, they were paying $500 a month, but you're talking about in a week's time, you only break $100. Plus, you have to staff the individual there. 2 to the hours of operations of the community center. I think there's a correct business model to work there, and perhaps it's something on the tourism side. Perhaps it's working in conjunct with an existing venue already within our downtown district, perhaps, and it becomes like an annex kitchen.
Could be.
I invite you to have that conversation. Another option is creating more of an open space, a vending machine services type.
Just gonna suggest that, sorry.
You could sponsor that type of business there. Vending machines are very, once you set it up, and this board can definitely fund the initial machines, a little bit of rework in that room, but you could get really creative with that. And honestly, it's just provide the people the necessities they need for the pool. Poke bowls was not really a good option. That was some of the things they tried to be unique, aside from hot dogs and burgers, but it's a hard gig to staff.
Even though they were kosher, they were even amicable to opening up on Saturdays, so, I mean, they tried.
They did try.
I think they tried. But I think that, I just wanted you to consider that perhaps maybe the tourist board as a whole would be amicable to perhaps maybe subsidizing some sort of a business. So we can have something operating there for the tourists, some sort of snacks and so on and so forth. Diana?
Or maybe we need to find someone who tried harder. I mean, because it's impossible that in the weekend with having the community center full, that they cannot sell stuff, I think it's very weird because the space is good and the people is there every weekend. I mean, it's kind of maybe finding
But they
people.
don't buy. I mean, it's nice to have the people there. And I'm telling you, if you attend in one whole day or even on a weekend and see the operation was clean, the operation was good. But I guess it's perhaps maybe most of the residents that attend, they bring their own, or even though it's outside food is prohibited. But it is a tough space to fulfill in an ongoing basis. Anybody else has an input? Yes, Ben?
So I watched that concession over the years and how it operated, and it looks like at the beginning when this concessionaire took over the lease, they started out doing a dairy type of thing, pizzas and things like that, and it didn't get a lot of traction. It wasn't very successful, and they flipped to hamburgers and hot dogs, and it was affordable. And I remember I was there in line with my family. There was always a line of people going on. COVID hit. The owner of that concessionaire went off to do a different job and didn't really come back to it. He brought other people in. They were splitting it. If you're going to work on that, it's got to be part of your full operation. So I don't think having an individual running that will ever be profitable. But if they're a finishing kitchen for a restaurant in downtown, having one person staff it is not a big thing. You can move your staff back and forth. You have options. On the weekends, you can do beach services to, bring, biodegradable stuff out to the people on the beach. So there's a lot of cool options and things you can do, but that can't be your end-all be-all. You'll never have enough space. You need to have that real restaurant behind it, and you have your golf cart going back and forth all day long. So I think there's a lot to be done, but it just has to be done right with the right partner, and partners mean everything.
Well, I think that the manager alluded that perhaps maybe it will be a supplement type of business that's already existing on Harding Avenue.
Yeah.
So I think that's a great, looking into the near future.
I think, Chair, my last thoughts. We know that the business model as applied and previously applied does not work. So I don't want to try that again. So I think both options, with the vending option as well as a finished kitchen option, are viable options. But we also are demanding in what we request to. We need to have that open 7 days a week.
Right?
Yep.
And during the weekdays, there is barely any foot traffic there.
Agreed.
Your weekends are your heavy hitters. And if we're going to be that demanding to whomever is going to be there, we should be somewhat lenient in that sense. But let's explore these two new business plans and put something together and have a further discussion with the town commission and balance out. But I would welcome the tourist board to assist us in any way possible.
As I said, I keep that in mind because in case you didn't, I'm just offering that alternative.
Or the vending machines that they propose is,
Also.
I think the vending machine is better also to try
But
that.
one of the things that I definitely want to see is to make sure it's open 7 days a week.
I agree.
regardless, limited hours, lunch hours, or whatever. Okay, very good. Any other comments? David? No. Diana, any further comments? No. Okay, what, do we have in this report the locations that are available, Frank?
It's not in the long printout, it's in the agenda. Sorry, not in the additional printout, but in the agenda packet, you can find the list of vacancies. So in the purple folder, Mr.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the, the closed places. Because that to me is a concern, every time a business leave, make sure that it is fulfilled somehow, yeah. Okay, any comments, David?
I do. Who owns, like, this one here? Is this a private owner of 9588 who owns the building?
Which one is that?
I would have to check, I'm not gonna, I probably
one is
won't
that?
remember the
Well,
owners.
any of them. Does somebody own the whole block, or do they just own separate buildings?
Different
Let
owners.
me just take a look
We'd
at
have
it
to
and see
check.
what you're talking about.
After the
So
agenda
someone
is,
approaches a landlord, is that how it works? And says, I'd like to bring in a restaurant or a clothing boutique, is that how it works?
I
Well,
would
yeah,
assume so, yeah.
The process is very simple. It's just a regular business who's looking for a space. They find a space that is empty on Harding Avenue, and then they'll take contact the owner and or manager. I mean, I'm just going by the process. And if they're in agreement, then they go ahead and sign. They need to come to the town to make sure that they comply with all of the needs and codes and regulations. And Miami-Dade County, if it's a restaurant, basically mainly because of, if it's a restaurant, you need exhaust, and you need oil, and you need grease pans and all that stuff. So that's a process. Now, I know that there's been talks about leasing these places as if we owned it. We don't own these places. Like some people complain that there's too many X and too many Ys and too many. We don't have control over that unless the commission gets together and they put a moratorium if they don't want to see certain kind of businesses, and then study the whole process of all the codes and businesses that are in the area. For instance, many, many years ago, and I think I said this in the last meeting, many, many years ago, they had a proliferation of beauty parlors. And people were complaining there was too many beauty parlors, too many nail places, and so on and so forth. We don't have control over that. If a business wants to lease it to a beauty parlor, they lease it,
it
and
depends.
so on and so forth. The only time that they went out in uproars is when I was mayor or vice mayor. I put a moratorium on Harding Avenue, and then DVAC came along and suggested to the commission to lift the moratorium. The thing is that we need a variety of restaurants, we need a variety of businesses, and we have them. Now people are complaining that we have too many kosher restaurants. Perfect. If we didn't have the kosher restaurants, we wouldn't have the people walking on Harding Avenue. We wouldn't have the tourist tax dollars that we're collecting if we didn't have those kosher restaurants. We've got maybe over 17 restaurants that are kosher. They're all producing tourist tax dollars. Whether the community knows it or not, they better learn it. Because a lot of this money that comes in, not only from the hotels, but it comes in from the restaurants, the businesses.
And that's what I wanted to know. And then can the town commission, can they put restrictions, more, like you said, moratorium? Can they put restrictions on anything trying to,
Not as long as it meets code.
Okay.
At the present time, if a business wants to open and it meets codes, the hands are tied on the commission unless they change the codes. And the codes that we have that I know of are working. There was a commissioner many, many years ago that wanted to put only one color canopy throughout the entire 2 blocks area. It doesn't make any sense. We have beautiful little Art Deco buildings. All they need to do is, and most of them have done it, have upgraded the businesses. And I think Harding Avenue it's a 2-block area that is really, really, I don't know if you guys feel the same way, But I think it's a pretty area. You know, overall, when you look at it, it's a really nice area. The only thing that we need to continue to do is upgrade the fascia of all those buildings.
And does the commission approve who goes into a place?
No.
That's what I wanted to know.
No, the commissions have nothing to do with that, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Manager. The commissioners that I know of, they have no say-so on the approval. As long as they meet code and they abide by the rules and regulations, it's a go-ahead. Is that correct?
Through the chair, the code is very specific about the type of business, and if they meet code, yes, there's some type of business that they have to come for permission, but it's very minimal. The only one we have right now is tobacco shops,
The which one?
tobacco type shops.
Oh, the top.
Other than that, really, if you meet code, it should be a path in.
Right. Well, the tobacco shops, if you know that, I mean, it's not a permitted use in the town of Surfside. But the fact is that Liborios, which is our original tobacco shop, they've been there for over 30 years. You know, what are you going to tell me after 30 years? You can't operate? No way. And that led the way for the vape or whatever you call that thing that people smoke. But if it wasn't because of that, it's not an allowed use. The code specifically, if you look at the code, it has specifically uses in the town. And not only uses, prohibited uses that we do not entertain at all.
Thank you. That's what I wanted to know.
You're quite welcome. Any further questions on the business district? If not, we move ahead to the next item. Discussion items, item 7A. So this is Frank, you're on.
If I could invite Mr. Andai, if he's in the room. Yeah.
Okay.
Just have a couple photos if you want to put them up.
Good evening, Alan Andai, 9341 Collins Avenue. So we kicked off this is going to be the 15th year of doing Third Thursdays. Popular evening, I think we exceeded, Frank, you can confirm it, but at least over 400 to 500 guests came out. We had our usual variety of activities. We brought out our usual surprises to entertain the guests, and all the partners regarding the food was utilizing the Surfside district. So I don't know if there's additional images or this is.
No, just.
Oh, okay, but that is a recap on the Third Thursday.
Question, there was plenty of food, correct?
We had plenty of food, and
Did you use the full extra funds, or?
we did. We utilized everything just to make sure on the first one, we do an inventory check, so that way we can see if we need to make any adjustments for the next one.
Is there any way, I know that we bring in pizza to these events. Is there any way, probably not, that we can provide the pizzas to the guests, hot pizzas? Because you know, by the time it gets here, by the time it lays there for a little bit, it's
Sure.
cold. Is there any way to use warmers or something like that?
We can look into that. We coordinate with the pickup schedule so that they fire the pizzas so that we pick it up as close to the start of the event as possible. As you see, you know, we try to have them stacked up so that they stay as warm and they're in the environment. Once we get it out to the event, depending on the elements, it was a pretty chilly night that night. This past week it's been colder.
Probably.
But I can definitely look into warmers and see how we can
How does
try
the
to preserve
commission
it.
feels about that? Ben?
I mean, I didn't see any issue with the pizza, because knowing if you're not coming out of a restaurant, it's not going to be hot. But the idea of doing those, you know, those guys who like to make the pizzas right there on the spot, they're coming out, that would be cool.
Well, that's a whole.
It's a whole
setup,
nother-
That's
yeah.
a whole conversation, because, you know, you put it in and it goes through this trolley and then it goes over to the bridge and the tunnels and then gets there. I was just thinking of some sort of a warmer, even though, you know, perhaps maybe it's not feasible, but
I'll look into it.
Diana, any comments?
Well, about the extra, if they use the extra funds for food that Ben was asking, I already told Alan that I saw that was a lot of food extra that employees, they divided between them. And then I say, I don't know, is it always happen or it's happened just once because it was extra food or what?
Well, one thing we want to make sure is that since we are providing food, is that there is enough. And
Exactly.
other vendors that have come across here did not allocate, or did not anticipate the use.
Enough.
So I think that that's okay. I just, I mean, we've allocated the extra funds for that purpose to make sure that there's always plenty of. Now, maybe the variety may need to change, and I need you to look into it, Alan, as far as the sponsors or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm short of words when it comes to Third Thursday because that's my baby.
And to the food point, it's really more of an art than a science because typically at an event, you get an RSVP, you can plan for it. This is an event where, depending on the weather, you can have 400 or 500 people show up. We've had over 1,000 show up. So I always try to have that contingency where I can't guarantee, and I know we've had discussions and conversation, received really great constructive criticism to be able to make sure that we do our best, that we can provide food throughout the entire event. It's never a guarantee. We've had where within the first hour, food was run out. Then you guys implemented beefing it up, and we've been able to actually serve throughout. So it's definitely something that we work with. We are obviously using downtown district, so we're reinvesting that funds back into the town, and we're rotating the variety of different restaurants. So we're working on that as well.
Yeah. Also, I would like to see if it's possible at all of these Third Thursday events for the dog adoption.
Yeah,
We've had it in the past.
yeah,
I'd like to see that because there's so many dogs there, and I think there's a lot of opportunities, especially families coming in and seeing these dogs. The alligators or crocodiles or whatever there was a hit.
yeah. So we always reach out. Obviously, we try to use the Third Thursday as a community platform. We actually had a dog adoption and we had a kitten adoption. So we'll re-engage with them to see if they're interested. It was a little challenging for the dogs, and then we also had issues that they were bringing apparently pit bull breeds. So
Yeah, pit bulls we don't
it's in it, and I can't control what animals they bring out. So,
But
but
it
I'm
can be-
definitely gonna reach out back to our community. We also had the Girl Power Rocks, which brought awareness to underprivileged women. So we definitely try to recirculate and make sure that we have exposure.
The thing that I like to see also, if it's possible, I'm sorry, I
Yeah.
apologize. I should have turned my cell phone off right on the onset. But you know what's also very good, if we can reach at, I was gonna say Busch Garden, but it's not, it's our
Parrot
Parrot
Jungle.
Jungle?
Yeah, I have a relationship. We're actually one of their partners. I'm happy to reach out. So one of the issues is we do have our preferred vendor that circulates the different animals, and we have to coordinate which animals they can bring to make sure they don't go after the other animals that we would bring. So I have to coordinate that, which is crazy as it sounds. It is something that they ask us, are you bringing other animals?
But do you think that the parrots would be affected by it? I don't think so.
I'll call Carlos, have a good relationship.
Can you do that? I think parrots and
It's
macaws are
possible.
very nice little.
They bring birds, so
they do?
we alternate a different animal each month. But if you want birds at every event, I'll reach out to Jungle Life.
I think so. I think the kids would like that. The interaction with the macaws, and they're very colorful. They're very loud.
I can make the current partner that we have only bring birds.
No, not only.
Okay, so I'll
In
A
addition,
variety.
let me look into that.
yeah.
And I have another question. Do you have an idea how many people is coming every Thursday? Because I read in some place that we didn't have that many people, and they were doing the counts like we are spending $200 per
Right, so
person.
I have pictures here, and I'm happy to show it.
That event, the expensive event, no way.
All
You
right.
can do a account, but I mean, Frank, what did you also have,
I mean, there's no perfect system to get the attendance, but I know that we usually have over 300 gifts that we acquire and we give out. We've also been doing a data series to find out if people are visitors or are they SurfBalBay, where they're coming from. Not everybody that comes to the event does the survey or wants the item, so it's not necessarily an accurate, number count, but I know it's well above 300 every time. I mean, I would say above 400 for this first one. And at the end of the series for both this one and the Saturday block party, we will present the findings of the data capture so we know who's coming to the events and how they're finding out about them.
we also, and got approval on certain products that we bring out as promotionals and add on to what you guys provide, and we always have a minimum of 200 items, and we're sold out. So obviously there will be crossover, but we can kind of formulate based on if we have left over and what Frank's team passed out, we can kind of come back with some data.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
I think there's also the beach concert.
Yeah, one second.
Oh.
Ben?
Just two items. One, when they have the restaurants there, would you be able to put back the signs with maybe their address? It's really nice for people to know what food they're getting, so they can either know to visit the establishment, or not, but preferably visit the establishment. And the second item is, I know we gear. Oh, right. Also, if you can put the sign for kosher, because people start getting confused which one's kosher, which one's not, and we want to have variety for everything. But just if we could make that very.
I'll make them bigger, but we do, and we make sure that we have on the side of the table. It's hectic. You're serving
I've seen
hundreds
them.
of
I've
people,
seen
but
the
we
sign.
make sure
I
we
see the signs. That
designate. There's two. There's always a meat and a dairy station, so we'll make the signs bigger.
Yeah, they could put the name of the thing on the top of the tent or something, so everyone sees. This is Subway. This is Fialkoff's. This is Grove. Just it'll be easy for people to see.
Okay.
Second item is I know we do a lot here to cater to young children as well as older and everything in between. But right now we're starting at 6 o'clock, which is already towards the end of a lot of kids' bedtimes. Would it be possible to roll this back to 5 o'clock if the board?
Can I, before you answer, and Frank did a great job in helping us out, there is a parking closure that used to be at 10 o'clock. It got pushed to 11 o'clock. It got pushed to 12 o'clock. This year it's at 1 o'clock. There was a miscommunication on email, and everyone worked out, and the police did an amazing job in helping us out. But every year we lose setup time. So we're now down from used to having a 6 to 7 hour block to set up. We're down to 4 hours, which this event we had about 2.5 hours, which we made it work. But I just want to make sure we're able to realistically hit expectations that we can maybe do a 5:30, but I have basically 4.5 hours to build up everything that we bring.
Well, who's setting
Through the
parking
chair,
lot?
if I may, you will have the full time. We did have a mishap with the police closing the parking lot the last time around, so it wasn't empty in the morning, so he couldn't set up as early as he needed to. We worked that out internally, but moving forward, the lot is going to be clear the night before. So technically, as of Thursday morning, 8, 9 a.m.,
We have lot access.
The lot
just
should
the
be
street-
clear. Yeah.
The street still closes at 1 though now.
The street will close at 1, yes, but the lot can be available in the morning.
So can we negotiate a 5:30?
Well, just you have a lot of kids who go to sleep 6:37. So if you're, you start closer to 5.
No.
I don't know what the other board members even before you weigh in on it. I think we should hear what everybody else if they're okay with that.
Yes, Chair.
Sorry.
No.
Back to the chair.
We need to make a comment. I want to make
Diana?
I think the problem is if we do that early, many people is going to complain because they are working. And that is why it's a problem. If we do that 5 or 5:30, it's going to be hard for many neighbors. It's the problem. They complain because we are doing the meetings early because they are not ready because they are working, blah, blah, blah. And if we do the parties also or these events early, I think it's going to be the risk. I understand the part of the kids.
But it's a 3-hour
I
event.
agree.
It's 3 hours.
Yeah, I know, I
Yeah.
agree. We see the residents complaining about the commission meetings being too early.
Too
They
early,
cannot
too.
make it, they're still working, and so on and so forth. And I think that's why we changed it to 6 o'clock.
But those-
It used to be a little earlier, I think.
With those meetings, they're trying to put their kids to bed and then come to the meeting. Here, we're trying to encourage them to bring their children with them. It's a very different operation, right? They're all complaining that they can't get their kids to bed and make it to a commission meeting in time because they get home from work at 5 and then they got to put their kids to sleep and deal with dinner and homework and all that stuff. Here, we want them to bring their kids along. So it's a very, and it goes till, it's a 3-hour event. It's not a short event.
From my experience, first of all, let me hear David. David, do you have any comments?
Not about the time.
Yeah, that's what we're discussing, the time.
Yeah.
I'm okay with the 5:30.
Okay,
I understand about the kids and I understand about the people coming after work. But yeah,
Diana?
Yeah, I think because what I hear from neighbors is that they prefer 6. I understand the point about the kids, but we can vote about it, but I think.
Well, I think 6 o'clock is a good time because when I have attended the Third Thursday events, including this last one, you had a big section for kids, and there were plenty of kids until about 9 o'clock. So the kids, I think that day they probably go to sleep a little later. Probably.
Depends on the age, right? The bigger kids are going to be up, they'll get to sleep.
And again, whatever the board decides, we're happy to fluctuate. I will say that right at 6, it's light, and I don't.
At 6:30 it's
wanna-
full.
It seems like that kind of rush really starts at 6:30. So
Yeah.
it's up to you guys. I'm happy to.
Well, if
fluctuate.
we were to vote on that, we'll have 2 yeses and 2 nos, and so we'll no place.
So I need
So I
Ezekiel.
think we're gonna keep it at 6 o'clock. Are you in agreement?
Well, I don't have a choice. We'll have to wait till Ezekiel comes around. That's it.
Diana, are you in agreement?
I think 6 o'clock too.
Like David?
I agree.
Okay. Okay, it is 6 o'clock then. Alan?
All right.
I wanted to say, these were amazing
Oh, the robots.
robots.
Oh, my goodness.
yeah, those are so
That was
cool.
a-
The kids
that was-
love it.
That was a hit.
Yes, great job, Party Robot.
Yeah, that was a hit. I mean, it was
You made front page.
Nice. Yeah, we can
that was
put that on the
Can
wall.
stay longer would be
You
good.
have another presentation on this,
I believe there's a music on the beach recap.
which is the next one. Why don't you go right into it?
Okay, so also we had weather that was challenging with a really high wind, but
I didn't think that was gonna take a place. I really didn't.
we had, for considering, I mean, we sold out on the food, including the additional. We had a really nice turnout. It was this is one of the most popular themes within the series. And they stayed till the end. So we were pleasantly surprised with how that's a hit or miss with the weather. You're right in the elements, and it just felt like there was an engine just blowing you, and people came out. So it shows that they enjoyed the event, and it brings the community together. So we're happy we're able to perform on such a interesting
weather-wise.
day. Yeah.
In your estimation, what do you think attendance was more or less?
I have a picture. I could try to do a quick head count, but we also on that day. That one usually will get roughly between, I would say, on the low ends in the 70s. I would say this was somewhere in the 60 to 80 attendees. But I give it up. There were board members there, so they should be able to confirm. But
Anybody
it was
has a
pretty
comment
full.
for attending this event? David?
I don't have a count, but I came toward the end, and there were still people that sitting there listening, to the music. People were talking. There was still, enough food. There was still food there, and people were just having a good time. So I didn't do a count, but the people I saw enjoyed everything.
Were you back from Isla Mujeres, Señor?
I don't think I was at this one.
No.
I was out of town.
You didn't?
I was not here for this one, no.
Okay, so you're
No.
overseas.
And excuse me.
I want to make a
Sorry,
comment.
Mayor?
So I was there. It was a lot of fun. Even throughout the weather, everybody played and people were there having a good time. So
Great to hear that. I didn't make it, but
Oh, we activated hot chocolate as a last minute. I brought out you had warm on-demand popcorn service. So we, took some of those extra funds and upgraded. And, we try to work with the elements that were given. So I think everyone appreciated that. It was definitely a good hit and well received.
Good.
As an add-on.
Okay,
All
any
right, thank
further
you.
I would
comments?
just add
Yeah.
to that is usually your attendance is, an event like this are people that are at the beach, people that come specifically. The people that were there specifically for this event. There was nobody at the beach that day. So, if we had quite a bit of people, every single one of those people came to this out for this event specifically.
Excellent.
It's
No, that's
for the
good.
beach day.
It's, and we have a few others coming up, so.
Yeah,
the beach
we've
events.
actually changed position of the stage where I don't know if you noticed, but we actually angle the speakers into the water. So we're cognizant of trying to reduce any sound pollution or sound complaints from our neighbors. And then we also face the stage towards your beach service. So guests that are coming to enjoy the beach across from the lifeguard, we're able to kind of play to a larger audience. So they'll come, grab food, and then go back to the chairs. So it's hard to gauge in an open public beach setting who's really there, because we see that the food goes through, it's very well attended in the beginning, and then they kind of scatter back to the chairs. They'll go back to also the chairs that are provided by the city.
Okay, very good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. Any further questions?
No,
Thank you.
yeah, I want to make the comment that in the beach is gonna be always a lot of people from the beach, and it's good because that is for tourists too. I mean, always you are going to be successful doing in the beach.
Great. Thanks.
you.
Thanks, Diana. Thank you, Alan. Next item is Surf Street Saturdays. Frank?
Thank you, Chair. I can invite the AC team to come up, please.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Commission, members of the board and city administration. Thank you for seeing us today. And,
Please state your name and address.
oh
for the-
yeah, sorry about that. Bruce Oros, 5025 Collins Avenue, Miami Beach, 33140.
Along with Noemi Lopez, ACT Productions, 407 Lincoln Road, Suite 10J, Miami Beach, Florida, 33139.
Thank you.
So thank you for taking the time, as I said. And we are here to talk about the percussion battle that took place on Saturday night here on 93rd Street. So it was our kind of first event. We were very concerned and make it very clear, about the layout and everything that we had to put together to make this a successful story and a very successful event for the community. And I think it provided us with quite a bit of information and a lessons to be learned. So with that, I'll let Noemi kind of give her perspective, and then we'd love to hear from you guys as to what your critique might be.
Just 1 second. I do have a speaker card on your item, Saturdays.
We already passed the comments.
Should I attend this first and then the speaker first and then the presentation after?
Public comments is over. But public comments are over.
I think we decided last time you can take it in whichever order you want. If you want to have them speak now, it's up to you. If you want to hear the public comment before.
Let me know from the board how they feel. Diana?
The public comments were in number 4, no, in the beginning. Or this is
No,
another?
this is for specific.
Okay. Well,
Public
is it for
comments
this?
were closed because nobody had any other subject.
But this
This
one
is the
is,
subject that's in the agenda. I
okay.
do have a speaker card. The question is, should I have the public speak before the presentation or after the presentation?
They may be-
What do you feel?
I think after the presentation.
Sorry, the
After,
presentation?
to see what is
After.
about
After
it.
presentation?
Same, that way they can,
After
that way maybe the
Okay.
question gets answered.
Okay.
Exactly.
Sarah, you're on. Sorry about that.
Okay.
No worries. Thank you. Now we know we have more follow-up on that. So the way that we did our site plan for this specific percussion battle, we wanted to use the entire space of the street and the parking lot. One thing that we didn't realize is the street is very large. When we looked into our site plan, we divided everything so we can get more footprint overall within the street and the parking lot. But when we came to it, we had a different crowd in every area, so it looked more empty than what we expected it to be. And something that a hiccup that we had was about our food truck and Shabbat time. The vendor that we got for this was very kosher heavy, and he couldn't drive until 6:45 p.m. with his food truck because it has a label of kosher. So they weren't able to come to the property until maybe 7:15, 7:30. But we did have the employees come around 6:30 to start serving the kosher friendly items. An item that you noted that we can have signage that's very helpful so that way people are aware that it is kosher friendly food. Not kosher friendly, but it is kosher food. And another element that we got feedback on was to include more decoration elements, which we also agree in terms of including some kind of entrance signage where it shows percussion battle besides the one that we had at the stage, just so when people are walking into the street, they are aware of what they're walking into. We heard really good feedback about the water selection that we had. It was plastic friendly. Even the bottle caps were plant-based, and the food choices, once the people were eating it, it was hot, it was fresh. They had a variety of options of sliders. They have chicken nuggets for the kids, French fries, and I'm sorry, I don't know the name, but for me, they're like empanadas where they're shoved with spinach and mushrooms. So it was a good variety for the guests.
A knish.
That's what it was. I'm sorry. I did not want to say that wrong. Another thing that we got feedback was to have more seating options, which is something that we definitely agree with. Maybe having some picnic tables around us, because we only had chairs for the guests to sit at, but maybe if we implement some picnic tables that would have more of a decoration aspect, especially if we keep it within the beach style component. And the other item was to include more activities for the kids. We focused a lot on the percussion battle component itself, and I think that's something that we did wrong, quote unquote. What we did was compare it similar to what we did with the sandcastle event, and that was very sandcastle competition heavy. So I think what we tried to do was compare that similar style to what we did at the beach to the street, but now we know better because we see that there's different components and different activities happening at the same time, and we can't keep everyone into one area. So having different activities throughout the street and the parking lot is going to enhance more guests. And also we did have some kind of competition because Harbour was having an art street festival, so a lot of the guests that usually come to the Surfside events weren't here because they were across a few blocks. And that's all. Did I miss anything?
No, well, I think had we moved the kids' art and maraca experience, if we'd moved that to the street, it would have provided quite a bit of illumination because it was very well lit, the tent. You can't really see it here, but yeah. It helped, and it would have created more attention and more traffic on the street level. Not to say we would eliminate the other area, but we would move up the bounce boombox and whatever other elements and add to that. So we understand now that the street needs to have a little more activity and a little more life, and that's what we would intend to do going forward.
I have a question. And I had a discussion with our tourist director. Surf Street Saturdays came up as a title for the event. I don't know how my board feels because obviously we don't talk to each other until we come to this meeting. I would like to see a little bit more exciting as far as title is concerned. I guess it's a preference. To me, Surf Street Saturdays don't mean very much. I mean, if I were to look at that, it doesn't jump at me. And I don't know if my fellow board members feel the same or different, or they're okay with it.
I wasn't there because I was traveling, but I hear
Title.
I hear about that was okay. Yeah.
David?
You want to change the title, or you
No,
want?
no, no. I'm asking if you're okay with the title
Yeah.
that they have chosen to promote this event, or maybe it should be something a little more catchy. Like Third Thursdays it's known for it. To me, Surf Street Saturday, I don't know, it just doesn't have whistles and bells. I don't know. That's just a matter of preference, I guess.
But I think it's a new name. I don't see it wrong. Actually, I see different because we cannot keep the same names, and I think it's a good idea. Or which one do you suggest?
No, I'm not, I'm saying to you is that I feel that this event, which is, we're going to have a few others, correct?
Uh-huh.
Then what do we have? 3 more events, right? You know, a lot of the events people attend because they're attracted to whatever the catch is. You know, it's whatever. I just don't see Surf Street Saturdays as an exciting title. That's my personal opinion.
It's Surf Street on Saturdays. I think it's good, actually.
Okay, so you think you're.
Do you have a better name to suggest?
No.
What do you
I
think,
just
Ben?
wanted to have
What do you
these,
think? To me, it makes sense. Surf Street, Surfside, Surf Street Saturdays refer exactly who is going to be
Saturday Night Live sounds good. You know,
We
Saturday
could throw that in there.
night, yeah,
Saturday night.
Saturday Night's Live. You know, I mean, they have that program. Why they chose that name, obviously, is because it rhymes. I mean, Saturday Night Live. Oh wow.
Yeah, like a
But Surf
70s.
Street is, I don't know, maybe it's just too long, or maybe it's 2 S's. I don't know. I mean, I don't think. Did you have any feelings, Ben?
Peter Piper had a.
Through the chair, if I may, we came up with a name mostly internally, so it's not really on the ACT team. I mean, we could do something like Surfside Saturdays. I mean, that's very simple, catchy. I mean, Surf Street, the idea was to kind of evoke to the block party feel, Saturdays, alliteration, but I mean, we could do something simpler
What
like
about you? I mean,
Surfside Saturdays.
what do you think about?
I think we could put some subheaders in there, like, you know, under the title, this, if it's going to be Surfside Saturday Night, or and
Saturday
then-
night, as I said, Surfside
Saturday night sounds
Live.
good too, but it's like a 70s, right? Like the music.
Well, no,
Saturday.
because you have, you know, you have the event. I don't know. It doesn't resonate with me. That's all I'm trying
Because
to.
some-
we can work with Frank on looking at ways that we could promote it that would work maybe more
Appealing.
more excitingly
Exciting, yeah.
for you
Close.
and the rest of the community.
What do you think, huh?
Saturday night sounds good too.
Saturday night in Surfside.
There you go.
Something like that. I mean, it sounds.
It's not a branded. It's a.
Well,
It's not a
whatever. I
catchy
mean,
name to
I just throw that out there. Whatever it is, I just throw it out there. Try to figure something else. If you can come up with something else, it's okay. I mean, you've got something there now. But if you can come up with, well, what do you think is a little more exciting? You know, a little bit more honey and sugar, then it'll be okay.
We'll brainstorm, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll brainstorm.
Well, I'm glad I brought it up, just for the hell of it. Sure.
And we intend to, you know, put up a banner, an entry point banner across from City Hall, and kind of do some more, add some more elements that will call attention to that area, to the zone.
Okay, very good.
Some people put balloons or arch or something that is more attractive.
Okay.
That's something very good that you mentioned. Are we allowed to have balloons now that the balloon is banned at the beach now, or?
We're not on the beach.
But it's not
probably
the beach.
We
it's
can on the
the
street.
no?
Street,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, as long as that's okay, because I know that new
I
rule.
believe so.
It's allowed, right?
Right? Yes.
Balloons, Mr. Manager?
Mr. Manager?
Balloons not with gas, just the balloons.
Through the chair, may I ask a question?
Sure.
The balloons there, you will take care of putting them up and taking them down? Then that should be allowed.
Yeah, we would have like a dedicated vendor to do that specific
Put
art.
them up and then take them down.
Correct.
Okay.
Is that
You
allowed?
got the answer, yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Right from the source. Okay, anything else?
Well, just got a couple comments. Eli.
Yeah,
Yes.
we'd love to hear
Sorry.
your feedback.
Okay.
So, we've done a lot of these events, and I want to start out saying that I was at the event, and nothing I saw there was a red flag. It wasn't anything that was, oh my God, we had a vendor that came here that lit up every red flag under the sun, and at per Eli, they will never work in this town again. Gone through that. So none of that was there, and you guys had a great track record from the event we did on the beach. I think everyone had a really great time. It was a very classy event. But when we look at this event, right, we're used to a specific, not a style, but a lot of things going on. So the first, word that came to mind when I walked in here is like we walked in and we're like, is the event going on? Did we get the wrong day? Like it felt sparse. We've had vendors put things down the flooring. We've had lighting. We've had activations from animals to electronic games to we've had the bikes that you do, the smoothie machines. I mean, we've had all these different things, and one of the reasons we've always gone with multiple vendors for our large activities is to keep things fresh and new. And when we came here, that bouncy house was a ginormous bouncy house, a very cool bouncy house, and the entertainment. The percussion ones, I've never seen so much of the audience so engaged and working on it. He's doing this apple, orange, banana thing. I don't know. It was awesome, and everyone was having a really great time, and the staff was great, and you guys had a lot of staff. I mean, the streets, everything was moving very good. But I think when you walked in, you were just missing all of those other activations. Those, it's a street party. It's not a single activity. So it needs to be that everybody's off in their own corners doing their own things. People are moving around. Neighbors are talking to neighbors, and tourists are talking to tourists. Tourists are talking to neighbors, and vice versa. And everybody comes together. So it's just this big, fun block party, not a percussion party or a bouncy house party. And and we could do specific activities, but this thing's always been a lot of different things going on. And I know the food thing on Saturday nights is difficult, so and they did their best, and also what I liked is I came over and said, hey, the line for food is getting long, and you immediately sent more staff in there, and and everybody was getting in, the lines all went away. So I think you guys are a great company to work with. I just want to make sure that the next event we have more of that wow factor and more of the excitement, so that. And also just looking at this event, I mean, we write a pretty large check for these events. I think there needs to be some sort of, I mean, I think a couple of your vendors canceled on you, so I don't know how the numbers work out, but I don't think this was the full event that we funded.
Yeah, well, to that, I think your point and your critique, I think, is very, very valid. We recognize that. That's one of the reasons I thought, first off, if we had moved that tent for the kids, and even parents got involved in painting maracas. Had we moved that to the street, it really would have provided a very different experience visually. We will enhance the visual aspect of it and some of the elements. And I know Noemi and her team have been working on other ideas to enhance that experience in multiple ways for the kids and for the adults, that they can go off into different zones and feel like there's something else going on. I got it. We are there. And what we proposed is to give you, we will take a forward-moving credit for the next event where we will show you with an additional $5,000 that we will take from this past budget. We will redeploy that into the next event.
Good.
And also, a lot of people who are driving by, if there's a lot, if they see it, they'll pull over and come in. So we definitely want to make sure that whatever you have is not just visible inside, but to the street traffic on both sides, Collins and Harding as well.
And one of the things that we thought about is that where it states percussion battle, we would have that, we could have that on elevated on the top from the sort of the rooftop there, so that there you can see it from anywhere on the street, A, and B, the entry what you mentioned, the balloons, but that would be another ID of the event that's taking place. So if
when is it the next event taking place with you?
March 2nd.
March 2nd. Okay, so that's going to be our last, it's not our last meeting, but basically it's just before election. So it will be interesting to see what the improvements that you said you will establish for us to witness it and just because obviously you all know that March when is it, Mr. Mayor?
19th?
The
19th.
election?
19.
March 19 is the election. And whether you know it or not, this board functions with appointments from the commission. So we hope, all of us, to be back again here for the new commission, existing commission, new commission, so we can continue with this, even though we have agreed and we've put these programs in place. So it'll be interesting to see what changes and what comments are made at this board for your event.
Well, we certainly hope you all win your seats back.
So we're not up for election. It's the commissioners who appoint us.
Ah, okay,
So
right.
we have no, you know, it's,
You don't know, I see.
Right.
we're not even running.
So,
We're just, you know.
But it's a good,
Well, may they all win.
there you go. I definitely support that.
Oh,
All right.
Frank, one thing for you. I know we threw up those barricades at the last moment, but if we could just work with Public Works for a future.
Yes, thank you, Vice Chair. I do have a clear understanding now of who owns those barricades. They actually belong to parks. First, I thought it was police, then Public Works, but they're actually parks. So we will coordinate to have those on both sides of 93rd Street, cornering off to make sure no kids can run out. So thank you.
Good.
Perfect.
Anything else?
I just wanted to say, being a teacher, I like how you themed the maraca craft with the percussions. It was perfect.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. Just something to know within all of our activities, what we did was related everything to percussion. So that's something good and bad because we couldn't find other events that were related to music besides the ones that we implicated in this. But now that we know that we can bring other things that are not theme related, we'll definitely have more ideas to come for the moving forward projects.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I think we have one other agenda item to just throw out the table for you.
You need to have the public speaker.
No, right.
on this
That's what I was
agenda
gonna say, no. You need to take a break. You take
Oh,
a
okay.
break, because I need to have the public speak.
Oh, all right.
Perfect. Thank you.
Right. Okay, thank you for that presentation. And now I call on to Michelle Arambula.
Yes, Michelle Arambula, 9425 Byron. I don't know how many public speakers you get at these meetings.
Not too many.
I watch online.
We wish we get more, but we're okay.
I've only watched a couple of times, but I felt like I had to come because Saturday's event,
Yes.
I was really disappointed. I've lived here for about 11 years. I go to the events regularly with my kids. I usually plan mom groups. We'll meet up at 6 o'clock and we'll be there and we'll all take our kids and we end up staying for all 3 hours. I guess I don't understand, just from what I've heard, why it seems like we're trying to reinvent the wheel. The Saturday Surfside Under the Stars was a great name. You were looking for a name, Surfside Under the Stars. It was fun. They were memorable. You would walk up and you would get that impact that you were talking about. You had arches and you had cool furniture and you had memorable activities, the bike with the smoothies. You had tons of vendors. It was exciting. The music was always great. There was always a fun band that people would get up and dance. And when I walked up on Saturday, I said, am I here on the wrong day? Is this really happening? There was nothing. And I thought, no. I said, well, we'll get something to eat. We'll walk around. I mean, there was boxed water, which was nice, but there was no other vendor that I could get another drink from if I wanted a soda or whatever. The one vendor of food was okay. My kids didn't really like it, but there was no other option. I couldn't go buy something. I would have been happy to buy something. So we kind of sat around and said, well, let's see about the music. And the MC said, welcome to Sunside, Florida. And I turned to my daughter and I was like, did he just say Sunside, Florida? The Sunside, he said, welcome to the Sunside Town Party. I was like, are you kidding me? Honest mistake, but still, this is our party. We paid for it, you know? So again, I felt like I've watched a couple of meetings online and I just wanted to come and give my point of view. I know that the previous events were coordinated by a resident who lives here, has a vested interest in making them engaging and exciting and fun. I don't think she was allowed to or didn't propose her new pitch for Surfside Under the Stars when this company came in to pitch theirs, which is a shame because I think the events were amazing. We always looked forward to them. And this one was very sad.
Not to your expectation, I understand.
I mean, we left. There was just, and I said, I don't know if I would want to go back. I wouldn't organize with my friends to go on another day. I don't want to keep beating a dead horse because I know that you guys already said some of those comments, but that's what got me up and got me here today.
Well, thank you very much for coming. Thank you for expressing your thoughts and opinions. We will take that into consideration because it's important to have, whether it's input in emails or input in person. We take your comments very seriously.
Thank you. I was going to email, but I thought coming in person.
I appreciate you coming forward, and I appreciate your comments. It can only help us do things better. In another situation, I would explain to you what happened with the prior vendor, but I think it's all documented in the what is the website, Surfside website. And I'll just say one thing, because I don't want to go back again to what was, is that we did try as a board to work with that particular vendor, and it didn't turn out to be an amicable proposal. But it's all documented. The meeting, I encourage you to go back and ask or request to see the copy of that particular meeting, and then perhaps maybe you'll have a different opinion.
About that
I
particular
appreciate,
event.
yes, I
I
appreciate
mean,
your
honestly, I
comments.
felt like there's lessons to be learned. At least they could look at pictures of what it used to look like. It's
Right,
not that hard
right.
to do.
Well, that's exactly what the gentleman had proposed, and I'm appreciative that you were here to listen. They themselves said they stated the shortcomings that they had. They themselves today have said, we're even allocating funds from the last event to this event to improve on what we've done. We've seen our mistakes. I mean, I think it's admirable that a company comes before us and say, hey, guys, I screwed up a little bit, but this is what we propose. And that's exactly what we've just witnessed. So I thank you for coming in. I thank you for the presentation that the vendor did. And hopefully, and I hope to see you. I'm going to be looking for you at the next meeting of this particular event, and you'll have a different opinion. I do want you to know that we are open to all vendors to come forward and present what they would do with the town of Surfside in these type of events that we produce from the tourist board. We are not locked up with anybody. We are open, and you've, just like yourself, came in tonight, wrote a speaker card, I want to talk about it. Anybody can do that. Whether they're residents or not residents, we welcome that, okay?
Wonderful.
Got it? Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks.
Appreciate it, thank you. Okay, anybody else comments on Saturday?
No.
Or Saturday Night Live?
South Street.
No? Surf Street, no? Okay, I close now the public comments, and now we go to
7D. The mentalists.
yeah, but don't they have another presentation that we were gonna?
Yeah, that's
Is
their
it-
president.
It's the same?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Right, now we move to 7D, which is the Mentalist Master of the Mind Show. I guess that they already read my mind.
Yeah. Thank you. Did you want me to do the whole presentation again, or just a recap of? Okay.
All right, first of all, before you guys start, I remember when you made the presentation on this, it was extremely expensive for 1 hour, from what I remembered. All right, so before we do the presentation, are we going into that venue with that set in mind, with those dollars, or are we review the whole, okay, go ahead,
Yeah, good feedback, good feedback.
okay.
Yeah, we, working closely with Frank, there's been a a kind of a revamp of this plan. And I think it'll serve and be beneficial for many reasons. One, it would be an indoor venue. And I'll let Noemi go into the details. We believe we've shaved off about 10 grand from that number that we originally proposed. So we are, I think, well on our way to an improved and a lot of enhancements to this event. So I'll let Noemi take it from there.
Do you want to give me first the dollar bottom line?
The bottom line number?
Yeah, for this event, for this particular.
Well, we came in originally, it was like 46,000.
Right.
I think we've been able to get it down to 35-ish. That's where we are today. And again, our efforts is continuing, so we're not, there's nothing set in stone as yet.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
Yes. So for today, it's more of an update and not what we have solid in stone. We've been in communication with Frank, and we have a sponsorship with the Grand Beach Hotel here in Surfside. They're willing to let us use their venue space, one of their meeting spaces on the second floor that holds about 300 guests in that facility. What we would have to pay would be for food and beverage inside of the facility. They are open to letting us bring an outside vendor for kosher specifically. They have kosher style, which is why we brought up that question if we were allowed to bring in kosher into the building, because I know some hotels have strict rules and regulations with their food and beverage license. And with this, what they wanted to know is how many seats they can allocate for their hotel guests. They're aware that it's a community event for the 300 guests that would be able to go there, but we were maybe mentioning 50 seats that we can give specifically for the hotel guests. That way they can give us the venue for free. And the only thing that we would have to pay is for the food and beverage. They would help in terms of all of the PR. So that would be sharing it on social media with their guests, with the town, and getting interviews with Guy. He has been on many shows. I can't name them all, but the top ones are NBC, Univision, Bravo, Fox, Telemundo. So he's very well known. And if we get to do some interviews, even with your social media department here with the town, that way you can get more views and people can have some photo ops. So that would be a really nice value to the town and the hotel for the sponsorship that they're doing. And because we're still moving with the day of March 17th, it is St. Patrick's Day. So we're thinking of doing decorations of all green with St. Patrick's. We'll most likely do an open, I don't know the right term. I think it's open bar for beer only. And then everything else would be cash bar for the guests that are over 21. And the other good thing is we won't have any weather issues because we're indoors and all of the guests will be able to walk there or park at the nearest street parking within the hotel space. And those are the updates for now.
300, the Grand Beach, they have a ballroom that holds 300 people?
Yes, they have a meeting space on the second floor.
Oh, that holds 300? Oh, I know
Yeah,
that space.
and it has a nice ocean view and the street view.
Oh, it must open all the way. I've probably only seen it partially opened.
Yes.
So you're trying to do both events, because you have a site plan here for outdoors, and then you're talking about the Grand
Correct.
Beach.
So we would remove the outdoor plan, so that way we don't have to deal with the additional expenses of a stage, the tents, and we would be using only the riser and AV equipment inside of the venue. So that's where all of the costs that we've been able to reduce, along with the free venue space.
It would really facilitate the experience because you're indoors and it's a very controlled environment. So the only thing that we're talking about is the kid factor. You know, young kids, they may not want to, or they may not be able to sit for 45 minutes for the show.
Kids event.
So this really is catering to a slightly older child, maybe like the mayor's daughter that I met the other day, she's like 10 or 12, whatever. I mean, that age group would, I think, would find this, A, fascinating, and B, for the adults, it's that much more interesting, and the tourists, for sure, given the opportunity, if they're hotel guests, I think that they would be very, very, very happy with the ability to go to the show.
I think this would be more for,
1 second, Elena. 1 second. Is that it for your side? Okay, Diana?
I think, yeah, I think this, I think it's something completely different that would be amazing because we have the same kind of activities every time, multi-activities. And I agree, this needs to be something more focused on kids who are teenagers and up, that to be successful, I guess. And it would be completely different to offer something like this. Would be kind of show, a special show for Surfside neighbors or tourists. Just to be, my question would be how we're going to advertise, how will we advertise, because it's going to be inside, and most of the neighbors are used to go to the street and they know for the street. We need to marketing a lot or advertise a lot that the people know before in advance for Frankfurt Park, I think, to be successful, right? Because it would be more for adults. It's an even more.
David?
I like everything you have planned, but I do have some concerns. I've been involved with some other things like this where there was a cap of people, and I can just see if if we got another 100 that couldn't get it into it, the 301 to the 400, there could be a lot of backlash, outcry toward the committee and the town. So that's my concern.
Ben?
Yeah, I mean, I think if we're going to spend $35,000 on an event and then we limit ourselves down to 300 people, it's, if we're going to spend that kind of money, it really needs to be available. People can come in and we're not, I understand having seats and prime seats, and if we have sponsors to help bring down the cost, they get reserve seats. But even if people can be in the audience and walking around and, enjoying the event, we can say we did something big. Here, we're spending a lot of money on a limited number. I'm not sure how that goes. What happens to the 301st person who's now going to come to his board? Part of this town, or I flew in from, New Mexico. I heard about this Mendelist event and I got locked out.
Yeah, I can see that. I have a problem from the beginning. I think the event is a great event. It's something completely different than this town has done in the past 20 years. But I still cannot digest. I remember it was a 1-hour event. And to me, to equate tourist tax dollars, 35,000 divided by 1 hour, or even divided by 300, it doesn't jive funding-wise. I like the event. I don't like the price.
Yeah, look, I think you can't look at it simply as the show. I think that there will be an opening moment where there could be autograph signings, there could be picture taken. There's a big social media opportunity here, both pre and post. So the event itself that Guy puts on, yeah, it's like a theatrical event that's incredible. But the post event too adds to the time where you've got Guy walking around or taking pictures with people really after they've had this great experience, that it doesn't end. It is the follow-up. And then the media attention that it will get, I think, will be significant. I do believe that you have to, online, and the promotion should be, we have a limited number of seats. I don't know if there can be any SRO. There might be. I think the hotel has to advise us on that. Maybe there could be some SRO, standing room. But again, I think you need to make it clear that this is an event that they need to register for, which is good for your database, and it's first come, first serve. You know, if you drop out or people drop out, which they do, you know, we keep a contingency factor there of, you know, a certain percentage. But it's like any event that has its own preconditioned realities of having limitations.
Yeah.
But the carryover, and I think the spillage would, if it's that popular, it can be brought back by popular demand, you know, very, very quickly.
Okay. Any further comments? Everybody's quiet. This board is not known to be quiet.
I think I really liked that it's completely different to what we have all the time and many events. I agree that if they go, I agree with the price too. If they go down, if they go a little
They
down.
go down. Yeah, I personally cannot justify, maybe because I'm not familiar with the show, if I may call it a show. But I have a hard time. I have a hard time dedicating $35,000 for 1 hour. I'm saying for the event, not for the after effect and the before and the after and whatever. But it's up to the board. It's up to the board.
Would it be the children would have to be registered too, or just adults?
It's not for children.
This is not a children's event, David.
No, it would be 12, it would be.
Yeah, teenagers.
Yeah,
so
but
would-
everyone has to be
Do they
registered.
take a seat too, or is it?
Yes,
of course.
yeah, of course.
Yeah, I mean, that ideally you want to, that you have an audience. You know, I don't think you want kids just running around randomly. Because you want the attention to be focused on the show and what is going on the stage and with all of his, you know, special effects. So it seems like it would be a register event.
Well, that's what it is.
Yes.
And maybe there's an area that we could create for kids, but again, you don't want to have noise overriding, and you know, I don't think you want little children.
No, this is not an event for kids.
No, I think it's, you know,
more a
the
mature
12
audience.
Yeah.
up.
Remember when we were planning that thing that Anna was proposing to do the passport thing or something?
Right.
That would be,
Right.
also was a registered event and was limited to specific people, remember?
Yeah, but it wasn't 35,000.
Oh, well, no.
And it was an event that it takes quite a bit of time and promotion.
And it has
going
the
to
whole
it.
downtown popping,
it's
everyone's
whole
all
down.
around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, I mean, it will be the same, will be a registered event.
I mean, this feels almost more like something the hotels should do and sell tickets for, you know, like, people, you know, they have for their guests and they charge $50 a ticket, and, you know, it doesn't really feel like a tour. I mean, we've spoken about doing like a comedy night, but those events were supposed to be less money. They're supposed to be a $10,000 night, a $15,000 night instead of a $25,000, $30,000 night. Here we're doing that type of activity, but we're going the more expensive route. So if you were to say it's a block party and we're adding a special activity that costs more than the normal activities, you know, you got a 3-hour event, but
Yeah, but this type of activity, it's not a block party.
it's not a block party.
Yeah, I know.
It's its own,
It's
yeah,
not.
it's
It's a dedicated.
it's tough.
I'm excited over it. I'm just, as I said before, if we can find some sort of a variation to this, whether we can, you know, and I'm not so sure unless the tourist board director here tells me that yes, he's found the cooperation between the 3 hotels that we have, you know, and so on and so forth. Sometimes I'm not sure that these other hotels are amicable to have an event or sponsor an event or promote an event that's taking place in another hotel.
Yeah, that would be a good idea to have sponsors. It's a good idea to find.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying to you is this is not a sponsor. This is an event that the tourist board is presenting, and we're doing it at the beach, the Grand Beach. And I'm saying to you is that perhaps maybe I don't know how they feel sending their tourists to some other hotel. So that is a little concern of mine. But more importantly, I don't see we've always done the event just like what we spoke before on the Saturday nights. It's more of a grand event, more open to the public, more welcoming to everybody. People don't have to register, and it's a block type thing. It's a resident type thing. This is more limited, more specialized. And again, we have not done anything like this before. And I said before, I like the activity. I'm not so sure that we're already graduated to that event or to that step.
Well, just to add to the sponsor conversation, now that we have a hotel and a destination, we are now able to talk to sponsors about additional contributions financially, to look for other ways to reduce the budget. I know that's a big concern, but again,
To me, it is.
yeah, this is still, it is a departure from the block party concept. This is
Different.
definitely a different experience.
I agree.
And there's a real value, I think, that will travel very well, not only with the tourists, but with the local community. Because if
so
you
here-
think about Faina, I'm sorry, as an example,
Yeah.
they have a show there.
Yeah,
and-
but that's a different crowd.
no, but
Diana
other,
is-
understand, but I'm saying other hotels send their guests to that show.
Yeah, but when you speak of Faena House, you're talking to a different level, okay? This is more touristic, more whatever. I don't want to.
We got the Four
Eli-
Seasons.
Yeah, the Four Seasons will send their guests.
Eli, I got an idea, right? We're worried about the fun. Everyone likes the event. The issue is the money. So why don't we come up with a number, somewhere 15, maybe 20, somewhere in that range, where if they can go get sponsors and cover the difference, we'll throw in a 15. Let's throw a crazy event together and let's get it rolling. I think.
Yeah, I think that's when you said you have a venue now. You know what more or less is going to cost. If you can come up to this board and say, "Hey, look, guys, I've got this event all locked up. I got Pepsi as a sponsor, and I got Coca-Cola as a sponsor. I got Secret Deodorant as the sponsor."
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
and what the expenditure would be for the tourists would be X dollars. I think I can digest that a lot better than proposing an expense, because I know we will be criticized for sure, because the people are out there looking at us as how we
Yeah.
spend these dollars. So I think that perhaps maybe if you get my drift or get the board's drift,
We get it.
and come back to us.
Well, we're
Or-
trying to do a March 19th day, March 17th day on this. So if we're comfortable with a number that we're all okay doing the event, let's approve it now. If they meet the goals and they make it work, great. If they are unable to accomplish it, then it dies.
Okay.
But let's put it in their park rather than have them come back to us, represent.
Yeah, I agree.
I
Good
agree.
idea.
So the question
So
now
it's
is what
how
number?
much?
How much?
Yeah, how much is it?
I say, I propose.
Well, propose a number, we propose.
Sorry?
Mr.
Propose
Chair.
different numbers.
Propose, well, we're talking 35,000. If they can get 15,000 sponsorship, we're looking at 20.
Okay.
I say that I'm willing to pay from these funds 22,000.
I'll do that.
22, you feel comfortable?
Yeah.
What about you?
Okay.
22? What do you think? You think it's
We'll,
possible?
we'll give it a good old college try.
Okay.
And we'll
so
advise
for that-
Frank.
For that, we need to take a vote. So excuse me for a second.
Should I make a motion?
I need a motion, correct?
So motion to approve the event for $22,000, as stated.
And second,
For the date, thank you, but the date.
Oh, for March 17th at the
Yeah.
Grand Beach Hotel.
Okay,
What time was it going to be at?
a night,
Starting at 6 p.m.
okay.
and second.
Second,
Board Member Gonzalez?
Yes.
Board Member Carp,
Yes.
Vice Chair Jacobson,
Yes.
Chair Turgerman.
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you. All right, so now you know the parameters, right? This is what we're saying we're doing? Yes.
We said 6 o'clock. This is geared towards older kids. Do we want to do it 7, 8 o'clock range, not 6?
I think let's leave it at 6 because it's dark.
No, but it's indoors now. No
I
problem.
know, but still, let's leave it at 6.
Is it?
Do you feel comfortable at 6 or you feel more comfortable at 7?
But it's Sunday.
1 second.
It's Sunday, and you're trying to get rid of little kids now. You said 6 o'clock is, you can't have it two ways. You can't say that 6 o'clock is good for little kids, and then 6 o'clock is bad for, the kids are already asleep. You got to pick one way or another.
Okay, so what do you guys?
Another thing to know, March 10th, the daylight saving ends, so then sunset doesn't go until 8 p.m.
But it doesn't matter. It's indoors, right?
Yeah, we can always close the curtains
Yeah.
if that's a concern.
My question to you guys, since you're gonna be doing the presentation or the event, what do you feel more comfortable with, 6 or 7?
I think 7 o'clock is a better start time.
Okay,
All right, so they have to amend the motion for 7 p.m.
okay. Do I hear?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. You got it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, next is the dunes. My plastic favorite man.
Thank you, Chair. Before I let Rodrigo begin, just really quickly, you had asked me about some research about what we do to look after the dunes.
Yes.
And I'm sure the manager can add to this, but I did speak with Public Works, and we do have a staff member from Public Works who regularly combs the beach and pays attention to the dunes. I know they also recently undertook a whole invasive species removal project from the dunes that I believe was done primarily in-house, and there has also been talk of a greater dune resiliency project that could potentially come forward down the line. I don't think this
From the town.
From the town, yes.
Okay.
I don't think this is to clean the dunes year round, but something to bring attention to it.
Okay, very good.
All right, so Rodrigo Butori, 9517 Carlisle Avenue. Well, hello.
Hello.
Good evening, everybody, members. All right, so I'm here to talk
Just put your presentation.
not about Guy Ball.
Name, address, for the record. Did you do it?
Said already.
Sorry,
No worries.
I was concentrating.
All right, so I think can I just go straight to the yeah?
I have a question before that, because we already
1
finished
second, sir.
Oh,
the order to close what we already authorized. When we will know if they are going to do that, because you see it's February 5th today, and it's gonna be kind of a month. When we will know?
He's gonna get in touch with.
To Frank, and
They're
you will
gonna
let us
email
know?
us.
Yeah.
We'll coordinate because it's.
Through the chair, I'll keep everyone informed.
Inform? Okay.
It'll be after our meeting anyways.
All right, we'll have one more meeting between now and then.
I should have March 4, okay.
But they're going to they have to already get the information out, send it out.
They
to
need to start
everybody.
working, yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I didn't want to wait till the next meeting to approve it, because
Yeah, exactly.
too late.
Yeah, exactly. No.
But we did it now, so. we
Okay,
will know.
we will be informed before that.
Got it. Sir, you're on.
All right, let's do this. Okay, so as you know, we have brought the two events this past year, the Plastic Fishing Festivals. We were very successful at those events. We had over 500 people showing up, over 600 pounds of trash removed, plastic residue specifically removed from the beach, and over 400,000 eyeballs on our events on media channels throughout South Florida and the world. So what I'm proposing here on top of the two events we are planning to do in 2024 is what we call Do the Dunes, right? So the dunes are a pretty important part of our town and a huge ecosystem throughout South Florida that needs to be preserved, as Frank was mentioning. And this pays special attention to that. So the idea here would be on Dunes Day or close to the Dune Day, which is in June, to have an event on which we would divide the 15 dunes that we have around town and have 15 teams between 3 to 5 people to take care of each one of those dunes. So this will be an event that will happen between 2 to 3 hours on which we'll gather everybody in front of the community center as we do with our events. We will brief them on the importance of the dunes. We'll have a partner organization focused on environmental causes with us. And then we're going to give him like 1 hour to clean a specific dune, assigned to the team in partnership with one of our volunteers. So they're overseeing the process and making sure that the dunes are taken care of and not, overstepped. Why we're doing this? Because there's quite a bit of trash over the dunes. I mean, our experience here for the last, 4 years since we started this plastic fisherman has been of finding a lot of plastic in the dunes because the wind carries that over it, right? We also find a lot of trash left by, people over there, all kinds of trash, all the way from bottles to balls, to sometimes syringes even. And this will be 1 day a year on which we'll call attention to the issue, but also especially make sure that our residents, show the love for the dunes in their town. What else? Well, the intention will be just like plastic fishermen. We would have some kind of award given at the end to the best, the team that brings the most trash. We can have a 1, 2, and 3, so first, second, and third place. And the intention is to give some kind of a nice big award for that. We're thinking like bicycles or something like that, which will be something that's that has a substantial value that would engage people on doing this. We'd also plan to have T-shirts as we usually do. And then an option of either a water bottle or the recycled plastic turtles that you guys seen on our events last time, made with plastic we came up from the beach, or even the tote bags branded with Surfside. So that's the plan. It's a very simple event, but I think it's one that focuses on the sustainable and environmental side of our town, which I think we need to have, my opinion, more of. So people understand that we are a town focused on those values. That's it.
Good, great. I have a couple of questions. The first question is, how widespread is this Dunes Day?
How?
Widespread.
It's a global event.
Global.
It's a global date, yeah.
Now, you do have, we voted last year, on the second event was also a global.
Yes, but that's a different one. That's a cleanup, a world cleanup day. This day is a celebration of dunes around the world. This is not a cleanup dunes day. This is the importance of dunes as an ecosystem. So it's just like you have Rivers Day, like you have Lakes Day, you would have the Dunes Day. The reason why we're doing this close to that date is just to try to tag along with that particular date.
So what is the activity taking place on the Dunes Day from your side?
The day will be June 23, and Dune Day is on 25th, so 2 days before.
So,
yeah.
But what is the participation? What is it that you're going to do that day that we...
We're going to be cleaning the dunes, the 15 patches of dunes that we have on our town. It's a cleanup on our end, but to show the love to the dunes at the end of the day, yeah. But it's a cleanup, absolutely, protecting the dunes.
Now, I like to open it to the board, but first, before I open it to the board discussion, I want to open it to the manager. If you permit me and allow me to do that?
Sure.
No?
Yes.
Mr. Manager, you heard the presentation on this particular activity. You know basically what the town does for the dunes on a monthly basis, daily basis, weekly basis. Do you see a value on this type of activity to complement what we do, or you don't? Sorry to put it on your leg, but...
No, Chair, it's fine, but I do have 3 points of information, a point of information regarding the matter, if you are going to entertain this further. The first one is I would not entertain that day. June 24th is obviously a date that means a lot to this town, and having an event prior to, which is June 23rd, it's not in good taste, in my opinion.
It's not in good taste.
No, June 24th would be the 3rd anniversary of the Champlain Tower South collapse.
That's out.
So I would,
Okay.
so
Good observation.
entertaining that, is there a value in this? Yes, if done correctly.
Okay.
I do not know enough about this as the gentleman's proposing it. I don't know what his knowledge is with dunes, but I do know that you will require a permit at the FDEP level to do this type of work. You require a CCCL permit with the state. We can assist. I would feel comfortable if you vet this more through me, but all in, there is a value. We just got to work closely.
Fantastic. Thank you for bringing the date. That's really important.
Manager, appreciate it. That's why I wanted to open it with you, which is normally not done. But I took the privilege and the board have allowed me to do that. And I thank you for your observation because those are two very, very good observations. So, having said that, and taking into consideration what you've stated, now let me hear it from the board.
Was there a third thing?
No, two things.
My only requirement, if the board decides to do this, the organization Plastic Fishermen would have to apply for the permit with the state.
That you'll take care
That is my main thing.
Absolutely. Then we'll have to, we'll pursue that. I'll talk to Frank. I mean, I don't know what is the process.
And that's where you and I work together.
There you go.
Okay, so we start with Diana.
Okay. Well, another question for the town manager, because if, I say this respectfully, but if the town do this, because I know that Bell Harbor, they do that too, they had to clean specifically the dunes. What is the case to have just one day, you are doing this regularly? I really, because we're going to spend.
Let me interject on that. Number one, we're looking at exposure and a greater exposure with his company in as far as the ecosystem. So it's a greater exposure. But having said that, I think that we need, as a board, and in order to answer you, that this gentleman would communicate and work with the manager, because this is the activities that basically the town does. So it really and truly is more of an exposure type thing, even though they would be performing what the town does on that particular date. The town doesn't award outsiders with a trophy and all this good stuff that the company will provide. So it's an activity to complement what the town does. So that week, perhaps maybe, and that's why he needs to work with the town manager. That perhaps maybe that week he'll give a break. The town manager being so generous.
Yes, one day.
Give a break to the workers and then depend on his activity to clean that week or that day or whatever.
Chair Eli, may I address that answer you?
Just,
Sure.
to answer at the same time, if we have to change the date because it's
No, the
very
date-
close,
The date is not valid.
sure.
that there is no,
No, it's not valid.
we cannot do that exactly the same date that's supposed to be the international day, right?
No, because it will be the day after.
It's the same.
So maybe we move it a week.
Very
But again, I'm happy to change that date. What I wanted to say, which is the most important part of this, we're not doing any of our events. We don't do this for the volume of trash we get out of the beach. We do this for an educational purpose. We are an educational organization. I just came out of Germany. We're at an event over there. We're educating. We're going from school to school to school to school, talking about the problem. So this is a way to bring awareness to the dunes, to our residents, to talk about the importance of that. And of course, how can you help? By keeping it clean. So it's very much about that learning. It's not so much about the cleaning. And of course, when you give, prizes and everything, you get
It's
people involved.
education, yeah. The point here is how we educate the people who come to the beach, because I think our town is really very aware that with the people who came to the beach,
Yeah, because we clean
left.
up their mess.
I know, they don't clean their mess. I know, I
It's like
don't,
walk your dog, right?
I know.
Walk your dog.
Chair, if I may,
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Maybe we can work with schools too. So we can talk with the Ruth K.
I concur. Educational, awareness, activism. It puts it a trigger that the dunes is not just a body of
Sand.
grass and sand, but it's an actual ecosystem that serves a purpose. If somehow this board can tie it together with the resiliency strategies the town has, we are raising the dunes. I think it's an undershot understanding, but we are raising the dunes by 2 or 3 feet, and we are doing it by the end of this year. And we have FDP grant funding to support us with this, and somehow if you can merge that with our education, your education, that's how I would feel comfortable.
Plus,
Yes.
I would love to work towards that target date so we can work together, not only getting the license, but also supporting that activity by doing the cleanup.
David?
Yeah, I love the educational piece of it. I wasn't able to go last year. How was it received last year?
Through the chair, if I may, the events were very successful.
Yeah,
And as you can see from his recap, we also got quite a bit of media attention, which I think is an important thing to consider, especially because this event is going to be different to Rodrigo's other events that he typically puts on. He's, done some partnerships with some other cities as well, and he's gotten attention for those. So I think if we tie that into the dunes, and then it's tied to a greater raising of the dunes, a greater dune resiliency, again, it's not so much about the experience of having a party or having a lot of fun for a couple of hours. It's really like cementing our status as one of the,
Eco-
front runners for, ecotourism.
I think that's great.
Okay. Ben?
I've seen Rodrigo's items in the past, and I think they've been great. They're generally, very well put together on the presentation. They're delivered well, and education's very important, right? As much as I like my plastic straws, the straw needs to go in the garbage can, not on the beach, right? It's basics in life here, and I appreciate you going out there and telling people just to be, normal people, put the garbage where it's supposed to go. So it's important, and it's unfortunate that there's need for it, but there is need for it. My only concern is making sure all these permits things works. I know once you start working with the state, EFT, all the different letters, things can get really, really complex. So I love the event. I'd vote in favor of it. It's just making sure that there is an event to vote in favor of once the government does their thing.
So Vice Chair Ben, would that be possible for us to approve the event and then decide on the date based on our conversations or we need to get that date approved right now?
Yes, sir.
Chair, I apologize, I stepped out. You can establish a date now. We know our timelines. Our stuff is just to inform and educate as part of this event, but you can establish a date now.
Okay, with the target, even with the approval through all the mechanics and all the proper organ. Okay.
That's correct, because our educational components of this is the town project that we have for the dune.
Gotcha.
That could be an educational component within your event.
Gotcha.
We want to educate the residents of what we got going on in Verdun. The project is the project. We know the project scope. We have overview. We have drawings. We have renderings. So it's something we just.
When is it happening?
It's happening the end of this year. We have to put together a formal request for proposals to target it for the end of the year. But is there an actual start date? No. But the way it's looking, your event is a lot sooner. It won't be in the summer.
So that's what I'm thinking is, should we do this late in summer or something like that, or maybe like towards the fall, or what would be best for you?
The global event is what day?
So we have one in April 20th. It's
No,
Earth Day.
late
Then we have September 16, yeah, and then September 16 or 20 this year, I don't know. And then it could be either later in October or it can be mid-July. But again, I think the closer we are from the start of his work, the better we should be, right? I'm assuming. But I don't know if we have a calendar that we have to.
Why don't we just approve the funding for it so you know the event's available, and then you'll come back to us with a date to be locked in once everything's
Yes, we
up.
talked
And that
to
way you know you have something to work towards, the board's on the same page, and it's just about figuring out the dates and approvals.
But
That-
September, you say also is possible, right?
Summer. I would not push past summer.
Yeah.
After summer, we're probably going to be in the project.
Okay.
Then perfect. Midsummer, yeah, that's perfect then. Yeah.
Sometime in
After
summer.
Yeah, I just need one thing here. I did not put in that cost the cost of approval or any permits with Miami-Dade. So I think that is something that the town would have to eat. Is that okay?
Right now,
How
it's
much is the cost of
11,400.
the permit?
11,400 right now. This is for the event, 11,400. My point is, if there's any extra large cost related to the permits,
This should be
there is, but
this should be a permit of no cost, and at most it would be a $200 permit. So it's something very.
then that's fine. Yeah, of course.
We'll make it work.
It's
We'll reach out
$200,
to
we'll
DEP.
take care of it. No problem at all.
I'm entertaining now a motion to approve the funding for this activity pending a future date.
I want to, I want to make a motion to approve the Dunes cleanup competition for 11,400.
Second?
Town clerk?
Board Member Carp,
Yes.
Board Member Gonzalez,
Yes.
Vice Chair Jacobson,
Yes.
Chair Turgerman.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Through the
Go
chair,
work.
really quick before Rodrigo steps away. Rodrigo, when we approved your Earth Day event for this year, I just wanted a clarification. Is because Earth Day is on a Monday this year, Parks and Recreation is having their fair on a Sunday.
Yeah.
You were planning on the Sunday. I
Sunday,
think
yeah, it was
is
the
what
same
we
day.
wanted.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, same day. It was always the same day. Yeah.
Okay, just
Yeah,
clarifying on my end. Okay.
Which day is gonna be?
The Earth Day plastic fishing Earth Day event will be the Sunday before Earth Day, so the 21st of April will be our first event.
21st?
Yeah, the same day that the town organizes. It's in conjunction.
It'll be in tandem with the Parks event.
Okay,
Cool. Thank you, Rodrigo.
thank you. All right, thank you very much. Now we go to item 7F, which is branded Surfside turtle sculptures. Mr. Manager, it's your item.
Thank you very much, Chair. This item is pretty straightforward. I'll provide some history on the current turtles out there. Actually, I'm sure you're best fit to provide the history on the turtles that we currently have deployed in Turtle Walk. It was a great venture by Tourist Board many years ago, and the intent was to have a display of turtles and ultimately have them sponsored by various businesses and whatnot, but ultimately theme the town through the turtles and having a turtle walk of the like. It's great initiative. It's been a while since we bought some turtles, and in recent agreements with recent cities, for example, City of Hialeah, part of our MOU of the sister city involved us giving them a turtle and us receiving a flamingo. So the only turtles I have are the ones that are accounted for. I thought it was a good idea for any type of gestures and whatnot, so that we could have a few turtles just in stock. For whatever reasons this board seems fit, but rather than react to giving away a turtle, that the intention of that turtle was not to give away, have a stock amount of turtles. Not a big amount, but maybe 2 or 3 turtles in stock with artists, and then we decide as we go. But obviously we have one in queue for the City of Hialeah. And you never know, maybe for a school or for whatever event this board deemed necessary, but we're just trying to fund 2 to 3 turtles. We found a mold of the turtles. Obviously, that involves still the artistic touch of it, which is an artist being sponsored to paint a turtle. But I'd just like to revisit the whole turtle idea and assist us in purchasing 3 turtles for right now. I'll turn it back over to you, Chair.
Is it here? 'Cause I don't remember.
4,200.
It's 4,200.
Through the chairs, yeah, it's about 1,700 for the fiberglass sculpture plus the paint job. So roughly a little bit
Okay.
over 2,000 each with the paint.
I like the idea. I like the idea to have them available. How does the board feel? Hands up? Hands up? Okay, let me hear a motion to approve $4,200 for 2 additional turtles to have in stock,
I make the motion.
to have one shared or one given to the sister city of Hialeah, and the other one for inventory.
I make that motion.
What is the total?
4,200.
4,200
For both or
for
for?
both,
Total, okay.
total.
I thought you wanted 3 turtles. 2 turtles or 3 turtles?
We're gonna start with 2.
Frank, how much? 42 for, it sounds like the math adds up to
I wrote 2
2
in
and a
the
half.
memo, but I mean, we could add and make it 3, but I just went with 2 for the memo, but
Let's do some quick math. 1,700 is each turtle.
yeah.
You rounded that to 2,000, so 3 turtles would be 6,000.
Well, let's
Is that what we're seeking?
So 3 turtles will be 6,300 the way we factored it.
6,300. Question I have is, do we anticipate other than Hialeah at the present moment?
Chair, we do not. We do not. We do not anticipate Hialeah, but we are developing our streets a little bit more and perhaps adding turtles in different areas as well as an option, but I'll reserve it for this board. I'd just like to have them, just in case.
Well, I tell you what, I like to see a turtle on 95th Street and Harding Avenue at the corner, one of the corners of 95th Street, because that's the middle of the business district, and we don't have any exposure on turtles on that area. So I prefer, or I suggest that we would use one of these turtles for that particular area. Does the board feel any different? Agree, disagreed, or agree to
Agreed.
disagree?
Sorry, I was out.
Sorry?
I was out. I couldn't hear where it's gonna be, the locations.
Well, no, the discussion is to have extra turtles in inventory. One turtle acquired would be given to our sister city of Hialeah as a token of appreciation for sister city.
And we're getting a flamingo.
And they are going to return to us as a gesture, a flamingo for Surfside.
Talking to the mic.
Oh, okay. And they're gonna suggest, no, not they're gonna suggest, they're, in exchange of our friendly sister city agreements, we'll give them a turtle, they're gonna give us a flamingo
Okay.
for Hialeah. At the same token, the manager is requesting couple of turtles to have it available
Uh-huh.
when these type of events are required or asked for. So I'm suggesting that we take one of the two turtles that basically I was implying to be placed on 95th Street and Harding Avenue in the corner.
Yeah, would be great. Yeah.
Because we have no turtles.
Don't
in the
have
business
turtles
district.
in the.
Or we can have two turtles in the business district. So that empties out the inventory of 3.
Oh,
And I don't know if we want to vote for 4 to have one on hand.
one where?
Are we
On
s-
hand.
Are we still budgeted for all this? This works?
Yeah, we have the money.
Yeah, because
Yeah, we have the money.
all the
So turtle it
turtles are
up.
Turtle it up.
Turtle it up. They
What do
want
you
four,
say?
4 turtles.
I think so, yeah, because to put more turtles in the main district, main
Right, the
district would
business
be
district.
great. This is where the
We'd
people is.
identified the same thing that we have. It's an ongoing thing.
Yeah.
We have one on 95th Street by the ocean, as you all know. We spent nice amount of money. It's a gorgeous turtle. It's very attractive.
Yeah.
So to complement that particular turtle on 95th Street and the ocean, we can have one on 95th Street on Harding Avenue.
And by Publix too, that is a very,
Well, how about this? I will entertain a motion for 4 turtles. 1 assigned to Hialeah, 2 assigned to the business district, and 1 assigned for stock inventory.
The motion maker was Board Member Carp. Can you amend your motion to then $8,400?
I amend the motion to $8,400 for the purchase of 4 turtles.
Okay. Do I hear, okay, do you want to specify where?
1 for Hialeah, 2 for the business district, and 1 to keep in stock for
Perfect.
somewhere else.
Do I hear a second to that motion?
Turtle power, yes.
Turtle power. All right.
Board Member Gonzalez,
yes.
Board Member Carp,
Yes.
Vice Chair Jacobson,
Yes.
Chair Turgerman.
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you very much. You got 4 turtles.
Why in stock? No, don't put it in stock. Put it outside that you can move, but not in stock.
Huh?
No in stock. It's too much to have it in stock. If we don't see
Well,
it.
no. Okay, so we already voted.
I know, but
Look,
in stock?
we have assigned 3 of them,
Uh-huh.
and 1 could be assigned somewhere else. It could be by Publix.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or another city that we
another-
want to donate to, right?
No.
Chair, in all fairness, through the chair, in stock means I could have it displayed publicly, but just keep in mind that if I needed to pull one for whatever reason,
Right.
I will pull that.
Okay, perfect.
But I could keep one in stock in the streets.
Put it in some place, yeah.
All right.
On-
Okay,
On the turtles, may I ask something?
Yes.
I'll direct it to the town manager. I was approached by one of the condo buildings, especially Spiaggia, to light up the big turtle. They said there's activity around there. People are like bumping into it. It was just something that somebody approached.
Through the chair, if I could take that conversation off the meeting,
Okay.
it sounds like it's,
Okay.
that
I
way,
thought it had lights.
it sounds like it's more of security lighting the area type situation.
Okay.
Okay, let's take this one off the air.
That
and-
one? Great.
So now, let's see. Are we done with the?
The next meeting will be March
Wait,
4th.
wait, before you go there. Before you go there, I have a couple of comments before we close it.
Oh, we're missing that. We're supposed to have the.
Well, we can have a public comments or input.
say we're
said
supposed
we
to
were gonna have
we're
2
supposed
of
to have
them.
board member. No, we're supposed to have board member comments at the end of every meeting.
Yeah,
We spoke
I
about
thought
that.
it did, but it didn't, it doesn't. And it's my fault on that. Okay, so, while we have the manager here, I'd like to see an update to this board on the Surfside signage for the entry on Byron as well as the entrance on Collins. Do you have an update on that?
At this time, I'll defer to Frank. Do we have an update on this sign?
So I did in recent weeks connect with Felix and Public Works. My question was, do they have the capability of removing the existing sign and relocating it to Byron? And they needed to take a look at the infrastructure over on Byron to see if whatever was under can be transferred over. Anyway, I'm not the technical guy, but long story short, they can do it. So we did get recent confirmation that Public Works can relocate it. So we are now going to re-engage the vendor and see if there's a plan to place the new one and then have our team relocate the other one.
Okay, because we have voted to have that sign replaced and relocate and replace.
Chair, can I provide you a schedule for this project specifically? I need to find out the status of this vendor. I'm assuming we ordered a sign already.
I don't know if it's been fully ordered. We did. I don't know if they've built the sign or not. I know we did allocate the money. We did tell the vendor we were moving forward, but I got to circle back with them.
Okay, now, this has been going on now for a few months. And that's why I didn't want to end this meeting without knowing what the status is, because once we vote on something, I want to see action. I don't want it to be fall through the cracks, just like if we didn't bring this up now, it's unknown to this board and something that we voted, I don't know, 6 months ago.
I think so.
Chair, I agree. There's been some time since the board voted for this, so it's my priority to find out what's going on and get this thing going.
Very good. And you got my drift?
Yeah, sounds good.
David?
Is this public, is this ending comments? I wanted to thank Cindy. The souvenir from Saturday night was really clever. It was a clear bag, and you said a lot of people go to events where it has to be clear to go through security. So I thought that was a great idea.
Okay, and
Oh,
next
really?
thing I want to bring to the meeting is the art festival. I didn't see it on the agenda. And I just thought of it because of this big art festival that took place in Bay Harbor. And they don't have, I just want to bring it to the attention of the board, they don't have the tourist tax dollars that we have. In fact, they're not authorized to collect any tourist tax dollars, yet they did a pretty large art festival on Ken Concourse. They were able to close Ken Concourse on one side and produce this festival. Open question for Frank is, where are we at with the art festival in Surfside?
Through the chair, that did come before the board and it was approved. I can't remember the exact date, but you did already approve it with ACT Productions.
We did?
Yeah, one or not the last meeting, maybe the one before that. I want to say March.
So where we at?
It's in the calendar.
Frank, can we have ACT come next month and provide an update on this?
Yes, again, they're working on it. It was approved. I think, Chair, you might have been out that meeting. Cindy's going to check when the event was scheduled for.
Frank, moving forward, could we get that calendar of events like
Yep.
for the next 2 to 3 months and everyone? Because there's just so many
Yeah,
things
it's
going on.
important because we will approve so many things that sometimes, it catches me by surprise as to what's taking place.
And we
The other
suggest that-
thing I wanted to bring to the board in reference to the art festival is, once again, I repeat what I've been saying all along, that we've had these art festivals before in Surfside, and we use the parking lot of the post office to have these vendors. I see that Bay Harbor have landed with Ocean Cadillac, the Wellness, Mount Sinai, and some other place as sponsors. Why can't we have a bigger event and search this tourist board, especially the director, try to find sponsors so we can have a real classy, well-defined art festival? Because I think that what probably we approved is something, it's okay, but it's not full-blown art. So that's what I want to bring to the
Through the
table.
chair, just to confirm the date on that, so it was approved for March 24th. That's a Sunday from 2 to 5 p.m.
Okay.
But what about, well,
Do you have any,
licensing?
sorry, Diana, do you have any particulars on this event? As far as vendors are concerned, as far as who's bringing up, what are they doing?
No,
Are
not
you-
right now. It's still a little far ahead, and we've had so many other events going on. So the AC team has been first, working on this block party first. So I don't have the details for the street art festival yet.
Unfortunately, that they left, because we could have asked that question. And all right, I just want to bring it back up to light, and I think Ben is in the right track when he says, let us have the activities report, with the agenda or whatever prior to the agenda, or send it to us. This way we know what events are taking place. this has been a year that we've done, I don't know, 500% of events compared to prior years. And we could easily lose track on all these events and taking place.
Chair, we'll go ahead and track these a little bit more aggressively and provide you an update in your agendas. That way we at least have a foresight of what's been approved, not approved, what's to come, what dates are open, and have a full spread on the calendar.
Excellent, very good.
Yeah, last
Okay.
meeting, they thankfully Frank brought it to us because we were trying to fit up calendars and schedules, everything would work. And if we didn't have that calendar in front of us, it would have been impossible.
Right. Okay, so, having said that, anybody else has any other comments, since this is kind of an addition that's supposed to be in the agenda, it's my fault?
Just one small thing. Has any other buildings done the ADA accessible mats? Has anyone else, move forward with that? No?
Through the chair, so far, no. There's only been one, maybe two, but no more than that. No more than that.
Maybe we should send out just another reminder to people, letting them know it's available to them if they want it. I think it's helpful for everybody in the town, the more access points there are.
That's the funding for that project.
The ADA,
mats.
yeah.
Do you want to rejuvenate the funding for that for this new fiscal year as the funding from the previous fiscal year?
Oh, that hasn't been
Yeah. So I think we would need this board to authorize the funding for fiscal year 24.
Can't do it now.
No,
No, it have to be at the next meeting.
March. We'll have an item.
So we'll put that on for the next one.
With that said, doesn't mean we can't educate everyone, let them know that this is there, and if they're interested, already start thinking about it.
Great.
Okay, anything else?
No, just about your comment, how we can find out more about how to get these sponsors at Bay Harbor
Frank, to our director.
with Frank?
Yeah.
Well, we can try. In the past, anytime we've ever brought in sponsors, it was always through outside agencies. I don't know that we've ever internally secured any sponsors, but we can try.
Well, in the olden days, in my younger days, yes, we did. We had in this town so-called a Canadian week. Anybody experience that week? Has anybody heard Canada Week in Surfside?
No.
Diana, you haven't heard of it.
Chair, I'm aware, we have some pictures of Canada Week.
Okay, the manager's aware, Frank, David? No.
You're really dating.
Okay. Frank, for your knowledge, I think maybe perhaps you ought to look at what the manager has on file or in inventory. But we used to have a whole week dedicated to Canada, the whole week. And there was golf activities, there were swim activities, there were all kinds of activities. All of the activities for that week were sponsored. And there's a huge line of sponsors for that week. In our archives, there should be somewhere the particulars on this particular week, which is called Canada Week, Canada Week. So I recommend or suggest you become familiar with it, because since you said to me that you're not familiar with any sponsors, well, we've moved away from that because the Canadians moved away. Canadians went to Fort Lauderdale, basically Hallandale. So we no longer had the bulk of Canadian people visiting Surfside during Canada Week. But I think that it'll be a good research for you to get familiarized with that. At the same time, you get familiarized with former tourist director of all of the sponsors that he used to obtain. I will tell you that it's not an easy job, but it's something for you to be aware, and something that, since you said that you've never experienced it, here's an indication that you can. Okay, all right? All right,
Look at that.
excellent. Our next meeting is set for March 4th. And any problems with that date?
No.
Ben, David, Diana?
No, I'm fine.
No? Okay, so it's set. Town clerk, the next meeting is set for March
March
4th.
4th.
And at this moment, I entertain
Motion to adjourn.
motion to adjourn.
I need a second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
That was.